Welcome to Beauty and the Gi, the podcast about Jiu-Jitsu and so much more. I'm Jen Eads, a blue belt full of curiosity and questions about Jiu-Jitsu.
And I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt obsessed with Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, what do you do when you feel like your family and your friends are not supportive of you doing Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah. So I've had this in many different ways. Personally, like when I first started, my mom was like, what happened to my little dancer? Like she didn't like the idea that, like I would try to fight people or something.
Yeah.
My chiropractor at the time was my uncle. And he said, what in your physical history makes you think this is a good idea? Because he thought I was too delicate,
Yeah.
So when I first started, I had lots of people telling me like it was too hard or like I wasn't tough enough or, Luckily for me, for me, I just kind of ignored it and just went about my business. But that can be a lot harder for somebody if their family's constantly on you about it or
Right.
A spouse or something like that.
Yeah.
And we opened a gym, basically around the same time I started jiu-jitsu. So it was like, at that point, you just kind of have to shut your mouth,
Right.
You're like, well, all right, I guess she's doing it. Because now you've got money tied up in it.
Right.
But, for a lot of people, it is a lot harder to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've definitely had a lot of people contact us or contact me, like, what happens if my, my spouse isn't, appreciative or anything like that, doesn't like me doing it. What are your thoughts?
When I started, Beth was just shocked.
Yeah.
I think not surprised that I would maybe go try it.
Right.
But shocked that I was like, oh, I kind of think I like this and I could maybe do this.
Yeah.
I'm not the most athletic. I played basketball in high school, but she makes fun of how I throw a football. So there's that.
Good news. No football throwing in jiu-jitsu.
Right? Just people throwing if
Exactly.
you're doing judo.
Yeah.
Can't throw a football, but I can throw a person.
Yeah, that's way more important.
Isn't that more fun?
Definitely.
And also because I'm, for the most part, pretty chill, not confrontational.
Right.
So this is the complete opposite of just how I'm wired as a person until I'm mad.
Yes.
And then, well, that's different. But so I think it kind of just took her a minute to wrap her head around it. But then as she saw that I was feeling better about myself, because this is the only exercise I like.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be a runner. I don't want to lift weights. This is my way of doing something that's really good for my body. I think it's good for my soul and just my peace of mind to kind of, it is a place to work out the meanness.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
In a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
Not that I'm mean when I roll, but it just to
Sometimes.
kind of, well, maybe when I get tired of getting beat up. But it just feels like a very good place to kind of just physically express things. So I think she would see the benefits, she kind of saw those. And so she's been very supportive of me, going to train and that kind of stuff, which has been really nice. I still think that my parents don't understand why in the world I do this. But yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
They're probably not going to come watch me in a tournament.
Right.
Because that'd freak my mom out.
No. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. My mom came and watched maybe my first tournament. It was one of my first few. And I thought she was going to try to get out on the mat and beat up my opponent.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is with Beth.
She wanted to fight her. Mom, I couldn't beat her and I am trained.
Yeah. So with Beth, the competition piece of it, because not that she doesn't want me to compete and that she wouldn't be supportive, but she worries about me getting hurt. She also knows that I'm a terrible loser. And so my mood may be going into competition. And if I don't win, it's a lot to ask of somebody to be around me at that point. I know that, I own it. So if I can figure out a way to, and I mean, I honestly think for me that maybe competition would be good to help me work through those things, right? Those challenges.
Yeah. And I think in general, you're getting better about that. I definitely see less times that you're upset losing in class, you know? And I think every bit of that goes towards it being easier in competition.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like, I don't want you to be upset when you lose. Like,
Right.
absolutely. That's, you know, you care about the outcome, which is important.
Right.
Like, why do it if you don't care about the outcome at all?
Yeah.
But I think to be able to be like, you know, I'm sad that I lost or whatever, but I know what to work on now, or, you know, at least I got out there and tried, or like being able to find the wins. You know, that's something we talk about a lot is like, it's not just winning gold or not. It's all of the different wins you get from it. So,
yeah. So I think sometimes it's finding out why that person, are they scared you're going to hurt yourself? Or like, what is it that they're really, I don't know if bothered is the right word, but maybe.
Right. What is upsetting them? Yeah, that's a good point. Like, is it that they're worried you're going to get injured, which I'm sure obviously was my uncle chiropractor's problem. Although, well, I guess I got adjusted for free. I was like, it's job security, but and I'm sure that's what my mom was worried about too. Also, sometimes it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about this before, but this, you know, as you grow and get more confident and all of that, then they're seeing that and they don't like it. I know when I first like really started getting into jiu-jitsu, which was around when I got my blue belt. Not, you know, white belt was just kind of here or there. But when I got my blue belt, I started really getting into it. And I started realizing that I didn't care what my body looked like as much because I knew what it could do.
Right.
And the result of that was that I was getting torn down more about what my body looked like because I was growing in confidence.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to watch out for that too. Like, what's the issue there?
Right. This might just be the surface of something that goes way deeper.
Way deeper. And I wish I would have recognized that then because, you know, instead of continuously feeling more confident in my body, I did get torn down and I did start to feel bad about myself. Where now, like, I am heavier than I've ever been and more confident about my body.
Yeah. It's crazy how that
Funny
works.
how that works, right? What are some other reasons you think that people aren't supportive of jiu-jitsu? So we talked about injury, potentially you growing and them not.
Yeah. It can be a big time commitment too. Like how much are you away from the house or your job? And is it a distraction from other things, like maybe where you should be focusing?
Or, you know, like I think that it's good for you to have some time to focus on yourself too.
Oh, yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah. But maybe they feel neglected in some way.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the one to take care of the kids or to make dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
I had a friend that would do all the meal prepping on Sunday, have everything ready to go. And, you know, basically you just pop in the microwave, dinner's ready, you know? Yeah. And her husband was like, I can't live like this. Like, I need you to make dinner every night kind of thing. Like, she's like, I prepped it. Literally all you have to do is put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
But was just, you know, just not comfortable with her being gone all the time. Thought that she should be there to wait on him, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. And I think it forces you to look at what do you want? What will you settle for? Those kinds of, like, it can lead to some very big things.
It really
big
can.
Revelations.
It can. And I honestly, I don't think this is helpful for a spouse that's feeling some kind of way about their partner doing jiu-jitsu, but it has kind of led to divorces because you start to recognize, you know, like, I'm growing more confident and my partner's tearing me down more. Or they think that I should be like waiting on them hand and foot instead of going out and bettering myself.
Yeah.
Or they're jealous. Jealousy is another big one. You know, like my instinct was like, maybe because you're training with people of the opposite sex. Like that happens a lot, but also like we're both lesbians. So if our partners were jealous, I mean, obviously mine's here, but you know, like,
and mine just bakes you cookies. So
yeah, exactly.
It's good.
But you know, so like if you're training with people that somehow you might be attracted to, there's like jealousy issues there.
Yeah.
That's a deeper rooted problem in your relationship. Yeah. I feel like aside from the, I don't want you to get hurt, or you have a bad attitude when you come home from class or something. I think therapy is the answer for a lot of these things. Like, you either need therapy or potentially divorce.
We are not here for relationship advice, just for jiu-jitsu and entertainment purposes only.
It's so funny. We see people, you know, like out in public and we're like, divorce immediately. Like, that's don't let him treat you that way. We don't say that to them typically. No. But, you know, I think that you got to look at what the deeper problem is. Like, what is jiu-jitsu is just the symptom.
Right.
What is the actual problem? And how can you work towards fixing that and working together? Like, if you want this to be your partner for life, you got to work together and figure out like how to come to an agreement, because you shouldn't have to just give up jiu-jitsu, something you love, something that's good for you.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I have found in 23 years is there's a lot of compromise.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and maybe even the jiu-jitsu kind of goes in spurts where there's times like maybe if you are going to do a competition where you are more, you know, you're more at the gym more and that kind of stuff. But then maybe when you're not competing, it's, you know, you're not training as much.
Right.
So I think it all kind of goes in seasons and you have to figure out, you know, with whether it's your family, your spouse, whoever that is, like how you can navigate that.
Yeah. And talking to them first. Yeah. Like talking to them about it. Like, hey, I really want to do this competition. If I do it 6 weeks out from it or 8 weeks out or whatever that is, like, I'm probably going to be at the gym a little more. I'm also going to be doing more recovery type stuff.
Yeah.
I will be taking a little more time away. How can we manage this best for like the home stuff or like so that we get to still spend time together, that kind of thing.
Wait, do you need a game plan for off the mat as well?
It sounds like it. It really sounds like it. You need a life game plan, a partner game plan.
But I think it's like anything else. So much of it is communication and then setting those expectations, setting those boundaries, and then maintaining the boundaries, which can be super challenging.
Yeah. Can I read this real fast?
Oh, yeah.
So in 2016, I had sent this to one of my girls whose entire family was very anti-jiu-jitsu. And her family was also very wrapped up in the church, and the church people were also like very anti her like training with men and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I had sent her this, and I found it. I was really surprised that I found it because that's 7 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
But this is what I told her to basically say. I was like, you don't have to get jiu-jitsu to relate to me. I don't even get it myself half the time. All you have to get, and by get, I mean respect, is that jiu-jitsu is something I care about, something that makes me feel alive. Jiu-jitsu is not your competition. Jiu-jitsu is who I am. It's not all of who I am, but it is who I am. And if that threatens you, then maybe that's your problem and not mine. But if jiu-jitsu is about energy, and it is, then I can't waste it anymore explaining the same thing over and over to people who are determined not to understand. So it was just kind of her, I was like, kind of gave her the reply of like, stand firm in that like jiu-jitsu makes you happy. Jiu-jitsu makes you feel whole. And it's okay if they don't get it, but they do need to respect that this is a part of who you are and a part of what you want your life to be.
Yeah.
It's hard to stand up sometimes to the people talking trash about it all the time.
Right.
But you have to do what's right for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Good. Any other thoughts?
I would love to hear from our listeners, as we love to do. We would love to hear from you all. So you know what to do. We are hanging out on Instagram at Beauty and the Gi Podcast. I'm there at Brassy Broad Jen.
And I'm AJ Klingerman.
And just send us a DM. Let us know if you've had to have one of those tough conversations, how that worked out, or, you know, maybe you're in that position right now. What's your plan to have the conversation or set the boundary or the expectation? And also, if you're listening on Spotify, which that is where most of our people listen, apparently, according to the geeky numbers. I will put the question there. And so you can just go to the episode in Spotify. You'll see the little question pop up and you can answer it right there, which is super cool. We love to hear from you all. So whether you want to message us about this episode or if you have other questions that you want us to talk about, you guys really give us the best ideas to talk about on this podcast, because everyone's experience feels like it's so different depending on where they train and how long they've been training and just all the different things.
Yeah, it's funny because like they all feel very different, but also you can see some overriding themes in it. And so then it's like, well, we've gotten so many questions about this. We should do an episode on that for sure. So
yes,
let us know what you'd like us to talk about.
And we really are keeping a list now.
We really are. I'm checking off the ones we do.
Yeah. I mean, we started it this summer, during camp. So.
Yeah. Only, I don't know, 4 years after we started the podcast.
Right? It's so much easier than going back and scrolling through DMs.
Yes.
So we love to hear from you. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this episode, or maybe it's even a previous episode, make sure that you are sharing the podcast with somebody that needs to hear it. Don't be stingy and keeping it all to yourself. Share it. Share the goodness. Share the jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the mat. Beauty and the Gi is a production of the Brassy Broadcasting Company.
And brought to you by Role Model Grappling.
Oh, and one more thing. We are not going to do full video episodes anymore. Nope. No more. Okay. That's it. That's all I have to say. That's the boundary and the expectation that I'm setting.
Yes.
In this episode.
You're like, I'm not even going to say why. It's just no.
Because I said so.
That's it. No is a full sentence.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, guys.